So now we begin with the topic, which is called standard costing. Standard costing and variance analysis. Variance analysis. Standard costing and variance analysis. So costing and variance analysis. I've not again been able to give you the short notes, but what is of more importance are the formulas, which I'm going to give you. I don't know whether I approach it question-wise, how many approach topic-wise. Yeah, I think what we should do for the interest of time, let me approach it, or let us approach it question-wise. Then once I give you the note, you see the way they are arranged. The way they are arranged. I might give you the structure. Let me give you the structure. So the structure in Akuanga, we have the profit, we have the profit variance, then we have direct materials, cost variance, direct labor, cost variance, variable overheads, cost variance, fixed overheads, cost variance, and we have sales variance. I think so. It's the same thing that I want to adjust my space. The one, what is it that you are talking about? So that is the structure of variances. That's the structure of variances. And when we are in materials, we have total, we have price, we have usage, we have mix, and we have yield. Jika utaziandika zikiwa kwa table like this, Also trying to avoid giving you a lot of certain information, so that when we get to the formulas. Now, when we are in materials, we have the total. Kuna mwingine anaitwa price, na mwingine anaitwa usage, na mwingine anaitwa mix, na kuna mwingine anaitwa yield. Those are the ones that you'll find under materials. When you come to the bar, the same thing. We have total, we have rate, we have efficiency, we have mix, and we have yield. When we come to variable overheads, again, we have total, then we have efficiency, and we have expenditure, we have calendar, and we have idle. And fixed, again, we have total, we have expenditure, we have volume, we have efficiency, and we have capacity. Then, when we go to the sale, we have total, we have volume, we have the price, we have the quantity, we have the mix, we have the size, and we have share. So sasa kama tumekuwa kwa normal class, I would have given you all those formulas. These are 5, these are 5, these are 10, 4, there are 5 also. 5, that is 20. These ones are 7. So we have around 27 formulas. But in the interest of time, I just want us to do questions. So that we become more familiar with what your examiner examines. So that is the structure of variances. In other words, we're saying a variance is the difference between what you expected and what you have gotten. And if you look at the income statement, where in share profit. So when we get a profit that is different from what you are expecting, we need to go back and check what changed. And when you do that, you realize these are the 5 things that you find in the income statement. About the sales, about the overheads, about the labor, about the material. Then if you do any materials in the change, what exactly has changed? Is it the total, the price, the usage, the mix, the yield? Yeah. Good. So the first question is here in December 2022, question 4B. December 2022, question 4B. So,
Water Limited manufactures and sells a single product branded TT with a standard cost of 1,100 shillings, made up as follows: direct materials, direct labor, variable and fixed overheads. The standard selling price per unit is 1,300 shillings. The monthly budget projects production and sales of 1,000 units. Actual figures for the month of November 2022 are as follows: the sales, actual production, direct materials, direct wages, variable and fixed overheads. Required: the material price variance and material usage variance, labor rate variance and labor efficiency variance, fixed overhead capacity variance, and fixed overhead efficiency variance.
thank you, that's good. Maybe I also needed to say, when you want to do something, you begin with something we call what? The budget. Yesterday I told you a budget is a plan. Like now for you to come to this class, you plan for it. Then when you have the budget, time comes for you to implement your budget. Then now you are here. Now, when you are thinking of coming, there is what you are expecting. Now that you're in class, there is what you are getting. So you quickly compare the difference. The difference between these two is what we are calling what? Variance. Now, in the world of variances, we do not use the word budget more, but we use the word standard. The difference between budget and standard is that budget is usually given for all the units, but standard is given for one unit. So they are both predetermined, but standard is for one unit and budget is for all units. So this means if you know how many units we have, you can divide, you can convert the budget to standard by dividing everything by the units. Equally, if you know how many units we have, now umepewa values are 1 unit, you can convert the standard to budget by multiplying. So that's the relationship. Now these variants, it can either be good or bad. Like now that you are in my class here as we talk, your experience is either good or what? Or bad. That's what happens. When you compare the budget and the actual, what you are expecting and what you are getting, you either feel good or you feel bad. Now, for variances that are good, we say they are favorable. For those that are bad, we say they are what? So, let's get material price variance. Let's start there with the formula. Material price variance. Material price variance is given as standard price minus actual price, close the brackets, multiplied by actual quantity. Multiplied by actual quantity. That's how we get the material price variance. It's the starting price minus actual price, you multiply by actual quantity. So you come here and go to the standard. When you go to the standard, come hapo juu, unaangalia mahali kuna materials. We are told it is 15 square meters at how much per square meter? 30. So that is called the standard price. You started price that. Then unateremka huko chini kwa the actual figures. Where there is material, they bought 22,000 square meters at how much? Yeah, you need to add action. Then you multiply by the actual quantity used. So the actual quantity used is 22,000. $220,000. I discourage students from using negative, but still no problem. Because when you're reconciling, you need to know. Because hii formula venye nimeipanga, si lazima ukuange unaanza na standard. You can also start with what? Action. So ukianza na action, kama tukianza na action, sige kutoka ikiwa positive. Yes, actually Mr. Wafula huwa anaanza na hii. So if you look at his notes, anaanza na action, anangoa start. So the sign is not important. What is important, what are you analyzing? We are analyzing the price. And price is an expense. Now, the next thing that you need to ask yourself, the size of these two. And this is what we actually paid. Is that good or bad news? It's bad. So if it's bad, we say it is adverse. It's adverse not because it is negative, but it is adverse because we actually paid more than what we were expecting to pay. Yeah. But hata ukiweka negative, ni sawa. The only mistake that many students do, most of the advanced variances are negative. And most of the favorable variances are positive. So there are some students that cram that any variance utapata ikiwa negative, they are advanced. And any variance utapata ikiwa positive mean, but this is not always. Haya, huyo mwingine anaitwa material usage variance. Materials usage variance. Materials usage variance is given as standard quantity minus actual quantity. You multiply by started price after you close the brackets. Multiply by started price after you close the brackets. Now, started quantity is obtained by first of all looking at the standard curve, and we realize 1 unit of our material of our product is going to be how many square meters. The statement inasema Quota Limited manufactures and sells what? So how many products? How many products are those? 1. Good. Remember, nimekuambia standard is always per unit. Now, a single product, that is 1, with a standard cost of 1,100, made up as follows. So hii details tunapewa hapa, it is for 1 unit of 1 product. And now my question is, kiangalia kwa material, we were supposed to use how many square meters for 1 unit? 15. Yes. Tunakuja unasema tulifaa kutumia 15. Now you multiply by how many units did we actually produce? So unaenda huko kwa actual results. Unapata actual production was 1,400. So that now gives you the total standard, what we should have used. You compare with what was actually used, 22,000. At a standard price of that.
$30,000.
30,000. After you have multiplied.
That is 21,000 minus 22,000.
Okay, 30,000. Now, is it positive or negative? Negative. So, come on, negative. Maanisha, we used more than what we should have used. So, if you use more than what you should have used, is that good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. So, that is bad. Bad. Huyu mwingine anaitwa labor rate variance. So labor rate variance is usually given as standard rate minus actual rate okay, so you multiply by actual hours. Actual hours. Multiply by actual hours. Sasa unarudi pale kwa standard card. Unaangalia mahali kuna direct labor. Unaambiwa direct labor is 5 hours at what? 100. So that is the standard rate, 100. You minus the actual rate. Unakimbia huko kwa actual figures. Unapata direct wages was 6,800 at what? 110. And the actual hours, they are 6,800. It's 8,000. Advance, good, because we paid more, we paid more. Then labor efficiency variance. Labor efficiency variance. Labor efficiency variance is given as standard hours. Standard hours. You minus actual hours. Standard hours, you minus actual hours, you multiply by standard rate. Standard rate. Sasa, the standard hours, unarudi pale kwa standard card. Unapata 1 unit ilifaa kutumia how many hours? 5. You multiply by the actual units that were produced, 1,400. Minus the actual hours are 6,800. Multiply by standard rate. Standard rate is 100. 20,000. So it's positive, Maanisha we use less time. Haya. Huyo mwingine anaitwa fixed overhead capacity variance. Fixed overhead capacity variance. Fixed overhead capacity variance. Now this one is given as budget hours. Budget hours. You minus actual hours. Minus actual hours. You multiply by fixed overhead absorption rate. Fixed overhead absorption rate per hour. Let me specify because it will be per unit. Per hour. So the absorption rate that we're using is per hour because these are hours. So in this one, narudi hapa unasema kulingana na our budget, one unit was supposed to take 5 hours. Na budget yetu ilikuwa to make how many units? The monthly budget projects a production and sales of what? 1,000. So kulingana na our sales, we had budgeted to make 1,000. Then you minus the actual tukakuja tukatumia 6,800. What is the fixed overhead absorption rate per hour? Unarudi kwa standard card. Unaona wamekupea kwa fixed overheads 5 hours at what? 10. Hizo ni zile OER zenye tumekuwa tukicompute. 18,000. Positive or negative? Negative. So if it is negative, let's argue whether it is favorable or adverse. If it is negative, the kumaanisha actual is more. So is that good or bad? Bad. It's good. It is good. Why is it good? Take this case. When you are going home, from here to your house, normally it takes how many minutes? Oh, when there is no traffic. Around 20 minutes. Ndio. Nalipa pesa ngapi? 740. Now, I'm sure umewahi ona where there is a lot of traffic. One day unapatana na traffic, hujui imetoka wapi. And you take a whole hour. Those are 60 minutes. So it's like 3 times. Does the Makanga charge the fare? I mean, increase the fare. Do you think it is good for Makanga? But for you, it is what? It is good because you have used more hours in that bus, but you have just paid what? 40. So when the actual is more to the producer and the cost is fixed, then that is favorable. But kama the actual ni kidogo, umetumia kidogo, then you feel like you have been cheated. Yeah, feel like you have been cheated. Okay, Rachel can see that. So I hope to make on halfway. Yeah. Or just like if you came here at 7. And your mind is set to be here up to for a minute. 10. So you are budgeted to be here for 3 hours. If I teach you up to 11, how will you feel? Assuming I'm charging you per hour. It should be good. Just like assuming I ended this class at 7:30, nikwambia sasa enda nyumbani na kanisani. How would you have felt? Very bad. Because the actual ni kidogo kuliko na budget. You see now, for your system, you have very many things that require you that you do. Na leo umezipanga. Kulingana na mpangilio wako, you are supposed to be in class from 7 to 10. Sasa nikikuuliza at 7:30, umeharibu mambo yako. Between 7:30 and 10, utakuwa unafanya nini? So I'm creating idleness in you. So all those words are just telling that this is what you learn. And in the exam, ukichanganyikiwa ushindwe kujua kama ni favorable ama ni adverse, you better leave it. Yacha hivyo, no one can cancel you. Because there is no evidence that you can argue ni time iliisha ndio kuandika. But the moment you write that it is favorable, it leaves no doubt that you know or you do not. Haya, huyo mwingine anaitwa fixed overhead efficiency variance. Fixed overhead efficiency variance. Now this one is given as standard hours. Standard hours minus actual hours. You multiply by fixed overhead absorption rates. Per hour. Fixed overhead absorption rates per hour. So standard in here too tumesema, you go there and find that one unit is taking us 5 hours. And you multiply by the actual units. The actual units are 1,400. You minus the actual is 6,800. You multiply by the OER of 10. $2,000. Positive or negative? Now, if it is positive, the kumaanisha actual is less, and that one is favorable. We used less time than what we should have used and did the same thing and got what we wanted. Alright. So that is how that question should have been handled. Let's look for another one. August 2022. August 2022, question 5. Question 5B. Someone.
The following information relates to actual output cost and variances for the demand of May 2022 for a single product branded tea manufactured by KK Limited. Actual production, actual cost incurred, other direct material and direct labor, variances, direct material price, direct material usage, direct labor rates, direct labor efficiency, production overhead expenditure, production overhead efficiency. Additional information: there was no opening or closing work in progress during the period. Variable production overhead varies with labor hours worked. The company operates the standard marginal costing system. Required standard cost card for product T for the month of May 2022.
Thank you, that's good. So sasa we require to do that standard cost card. Standard cost card. Now, the standard cost card is supposed to show us the cost of 1 unit. The cost of 1 unit. So mine, I will squeeze it here because I want to use this for the workings. But yako. So the items that will appear there, they're just very simple. So andika ya kwanza, direct materials. Direct materials. So yako unaacha hiyo space because tutakuja kuweka workings hapo eh. Haya, hiyo ingine that will be there is direct labor. Direct labor. Ni kama tu hiyo ingine tulikuwa tunasoma. Direct labor. Haya, huyo mwingine mwenye atakuwa hapo ni variable overheads. Variable overheads. Huyo mwingine ni fixed overheads. Fixed overheads. And then the total. Yes, that's the question you're dealing with, Rachel, August 2022, question 5B. On page number 8. Sasa, let's have the workings. So, andika workings. Now, we will require workings because for us to get the material cost, lazima tupate kilos na cost per kilo. We will go to where we have direct material price variance. Ukishaandika workings, kuja hapa useme material price variance. Material price variance is equal to standard price minus actual price. You multiply by actual units or actual quantity. Actual quantity. Let's use the word quantity. It's better than units. Actual quantity. So kulingana na huyu examiner anatuambia the material price variance was 300,000, which was favorable. Now, mathematically, kama tumepanga hii, na tunaambiwa it was favorable, ni kumaanisha the actual price was less. So mathematically, this is positive. Should be equal to standard price, that's why we are making the standard card. So we can use SP to represent standard price. Minus the actual price. That's the actual price. Tukuje huko kwa materials. The direct material, you can see the cost that was incurred was 8.4 million. And this one was for buying 300,000 kilos. So you multiply by the actual quantity, 300,000. 300,000. Sasa hii itakuwa 300,000 is equals to SP minus, give me this now. $28 times 300,000. So if you divide by 300 everywhere, see this one will be 1 equals SP minus 28. And therefore 1 plus 28 is SP. So 29 is the standard what? Price per kg. So mine yangu nitaitransfer hapa 29 times. Ndio nikuja kujua. Sasa yako utaandika hapa 29 times ndio tutafute the kilos. So hiyo tumesaidia to that point. Let's go to the next one. Material usage variance. Materials usage variance is equal to standard quantity. Standard quantity minus actual quantity. You multiply by standard price. Multiply by standard price. So usage tunaambiwa it was 180,000 advance. Now if it is advance, ni kumaanisha the actual quantity is more. Tutumia more, So kulingana na venye tumepanga our formula, then if this is more than this, mathematically this one should be negative. So the standard quantity, let's use SQ to present it. Minus the actual quantity tunajua tumetumia 300,000. And the standard price, hiyo tumepata ni what? 29. This 84 divided by 3 ndio ilitupea 28. The one that is whether this one is divisible by 9. Okay. So this becomes minus 180,000. You divide by 29. Should be equal to standard quantity minus 300,000. So minus 180,000 divided by 29, you add back 300,000, that gives you the standard quantity. Napata two what?
292, 792.104.
It's the standard quantity. Now this is for how many units? How many units were produced? The actual production is 36,000 units. For 36,000 what? Units. Ukikumbuka ile formula ingine ile swali ingine tumejibu tulikuwa tunasema 5 times the actual production ile 14 ndio tukapata standard quantity. Yeah, so this is why I'm saying 4. So per unit should be 793.104. You divide by the 36,000. 8.16 kilograms. So sasa rudi hapa juu useme times 8.16. 29 times 8.16. You need the answer.
Point 666.
66.
67.
Okay.
67.
So that is material. Where the taftirie lipa. Where kwa lipa. Labor, we have direct labor rates. So labor rate variance is equal to standard rate minus actual rate. You multiply by actual hours. Actual hours. So when we are told that the rate is 160 advance, that must be negative because it means to live more. So the standard rate is not known, so we use SR. The actual rate will be, unaenda hapo kwa labor hours. Unapata they used 5,440,000. 440,000. And this one, it was paid in respect to 64,000 hours. The actual hours are 64,000. So in solving, I have minus 160,000 being divided by 64,000 is SR minus English. 85. This one, you divide. Negative 2.5 is SR minus 85. So negative 2.5 plus 85 is SR. So this must be 82.5 is the standard rate per hour. Sasa unakimbia huko juu kwa budget tunasema ni 82.5 times. Now 20 to 10 hours. So hours tutazipata kwa hiyo ya efficiency, whereby you say labor efficiency variance labor efficiency variance is equal to standard hours. Standard hours you minus actual hours multiplied by standard rate. So when they are saying that they had 160 advance, kumaanisha the actual hours were more. So that is negative 160.
It's 320.
Or is 320? Or 320 favorable. So if it is 320 favorable, kumaanisha the actual hours were less. So it's mathematically positive. 320. So the started hours, we do not know them. Minus the actual hours. The actual hours, we know that the actual hours happen due, they were 64,000. And the started rate we have gotten that is 82.5. So proceeding on, we say 320,000. When you divide by 82.5, it's equals to standard hours SH minus 64,000. Sasa hii inakuja ngapi?
3878.79
equals SH minus 64,000. So that 78.79 plus 64,000 is the started hours. So inakuja 67, 878.79 is the started hours. And this is for all 36,000 units. I think that's 6. Yes, that's 6,000 units, the ones that were produced. So with that, we now see per unit, we are going to have 67,878.79. You divide by that 6,000.
1.89.
1.89 hours. Sasa ukibia hapa uweke hiyo 1.89. Multiply
155.925.
925. The next one that we require is the production overhead expenditure. Now this one, when you're told that the company operates standard marginal costing, tulisema marginal costing captures only the variables in the valuing of stocks, does not capture the fixed. So with the word marginal costing, it is supposed to help you know that the so-called production overhead must then be variable production overhead. So variable overheads expenditure variance expenditure variance, variable overheads expenditure variance is given as, as actual labor hours, multiplied by variable overhead absorption rate. I say that for sure. Multiplied by variable overhead absorption rate. You minus the actual variable overheads. Actual variable overheads. Yeah, and even up there is variable production overhead. So that confirms. Sasa, when you are told that it is what? It is adverse 120,000. Hiyo ni kumaanisha it is mathematically negative. He spent more. Should be equal to actual labor hours. Actual labor hours, you already know them. The actual labor hours, they are 64,000 times VOER, which we do not know, minus the variable overheads. They are 1,520,000. So this is negative 120,000 plus 1,520 should be equal to 64,000 times VOER. I think that should remain as 1.4 million. So is 64,000 VOER. So if I want to be left with VOER, it will be 1.4 million. I divide by 64,000.
$21.875.
21.875. So how do we get the variable overheads? The variable overheads, you get the OER, which is 21.875. You multiply by the actual hours, the number of hours, and you're easy to put another value, 1.89. $41.34. So for the fixed overheads, you take a 0 because it's not there. So add those 3.
Or that 3.935.
Or that 3.39.
935.
935. Okay, now that is all. Lakini now that hatujasoma the variable overhead efficiency, acha nikuandikie formula, tuandike formula. So variable overheads efficiency. Should be equal to standard hours minus actual hours multiplied by V O R. Multiplied by V O R. So they are telling us that is 8,000. And the 8,000 is favorable. So that means it's positive. Standard hours ni somea tulikuwa tumepata ngapi huko juu?
32.5.
No, that was per unit for the total, for all the units.
155.925.
Standard hours in our working variances. Ile tuliita SH. Kwa labor, hapo mahali tulifanya labor efficiency.
For all the 36,000 units. 67,878.79.
Na actual hours ni 64,000. Na VOR umepata 21.875. Now, can you check whether they're inaccurate? Napata?
34.48.
Yes, the difference is because of the roundings. The roundings that we have done, that's the difference. Okay. Which zimetoka hapa na mpaka huko kwa rate, hata kwa rate tulikuwa tumeround, yeah. Let us go to December 2021, which is a pile of paper. December 2021, pilot paper. Pilot paper. Question 2B. Read through. We attempted. Hiyo inaitwa material cost. It is the one we call the total. So material costs, the one we call the total. So what ukiona hapa costs hiyo ni total, total variance. Now this one is given as standard material costs. Standard material costs. you minus actual material costs. Start material costs minus actual material costs. Sasa unaangalia 1 unit was supposed to cost how much? Tunaambiwa to produce a liter of product, 24 units of materials are required at a starting price of 75. So that tells you 1 liter, for 1 liter to be made, it is 24 times what? 75. 1 liter. Now, as you realize with the others, you multiply with the actual production. So multiply by the actual production. So that is now the standard material costs. You come and look for the actual material costs. The actual material costs say that records prove that 80,000 units of materials were used at a price of 73. Use it at the price of after you have subtracted it?
Yeah.
Okay. 129 million.
160,000.
160,000. Positive or negative? Positive. So if it's positive, that means it's revenue. Material price variance. Now we can even use in issues, because we already have the formula elsewhere. Material price variance, which is starting price minus actual price. You multiply by actual quantity. But in the exam, you don't use issues to write in full. So the starting price is 75. The actual is 73. And the actual quantity is 80,000. Okay. Now this is favorable still, because we paid a smaller price. Material usage. Materials usage variance should be standard quantity minus actual quantity. You multiply by standard price. Material usage variance is standard quantity minus actual quantity. You multiply by standard price. Sasa, the standard quantity ni hii, tunastahili kusema 24. 1 unit was supposed to be 24. You multiply by the number of units that were produced. You have to execute. Yeah. It's not possible to answer because you're not told. You're told the actual production was okay. So the actual production was 75,000. The actual production was 75. So now like when you multiply, you're going to find to divide. When you already have the answer. Yeah. So minus the actual quantity. Actual quantity is 80,000. at a third price of 75. One works. Exact.
Yes.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. So positive is favorable. Actually, what tunasema hivi, if you are to get the usage, you add the price, you should get the total. So hii ukiongeza kwa hii, does it take you to the total because tumepata hapo? Yes. That's how we check. But also sababu wewe una a lot of time to things that very many. So me, I think we are done. We are done. On your own, May 2019, question 5B. May 2019, question 5B. Nafikiria tumemaliza. I don't even think there is need now for us to meet tomorrow. I don't know how you're going to go about it. So I think what I shall do, because technically tumemaliza, other than now the theory, technically tumemaliza. We then do not need to meet tomorrow. Next week is very tight because it's when we are expecting the pardon. Very tight on my side. Okay, let me end this. Those who are online, immediately you log back.